Are your ad campaigns lighting up the dashboard, but not the pipeline? That's bullspend, and marketers are calling it out in Dashboard Confessions.
My boss asked for results, so I opened my dashboard for the only positive-sounding metric I had: impressions.
Cut the bull spend. See revenue, not just reach. LinkedIn delivers the highest return on ad spend of major ad networks. Advertise on LinkedIn. Spend $250 on your first campaign and get a $250 credit. Go to linkedin.com/campaign. Terms and conditions apply.
Morning decisions. How about a creamy mocha frappuccino drink? Or a sweet vanilla? Smooth caramel maybe? Or a white chocolate mocha? Whichever you choose, delicious coffee awaits. Find Starbucks Frappuccino drinks wherever you buy your groceries.
Zootopia 2 has come home to Disney+.
Let's go!
Get ready for a new case.
We're gonna crack this case and prove we're the greatest partners of all time!
New friends.
You are... Gary the Snake. And your last name? The Snake.
Dream Team.
New habitats.
Zootopia has a secret reptile population.
You can watch the record-breaking phenomenon at home.
You're clearly working at
Zootopia 2, now available on Disney+, rated PG.
Hello everyone, I'm Chris Wynn. Welcome to How We're the Podcast as you join us after Sunderland's final game on the road in this brilliant season. And we've ended with a 3-1 win at the Hill Dickinson Stadium against David Moyes' Everton side, which means we're still on course to take the most points in the Premier League from losing positions this season. And now being just 2 points behind 7th placed Brighton of Albion, with just that game against Chelsea at the Stadium of Light, it still keeps our European hopes still alive. So to help us keep our feet on the ground, I have two people with me to provide their initial reaction on Sunderland's 5th away win of the season. And first up, I have Ant Waterson with me. Hello, Ant.
Hello, mate. Yeah, absolutely bouncing, honestly. Just at half-time I was thinking, we know what, we've done well, but we're behind. Typical Sunderland second half of the season kind of thing, and then second half absolutely amazing, and credit to Register Pre for making them subs, because he's got a lot of stick for making defensive subs, and we went on about it last week with the Talby one for Angulo for Talby and stuff like that. But you know what, fair play, and it was just after the goal as well. Credit to him for doing that. Yeah. Absolutely fantastic. And you know what, I'm cock-a-hoop. I'm absolutely cock-a-hoop, man. So happy.
Yeah. You know what it was, Ant? It was one of them, where you see the sun shining on the away end, and you see them in the stand, and you see the red and white. You just want to be there, didn't you?
Oh yeah, I had four more. I've been to Hill Dickinson as well. I went for the FA Cup, and do you know what? It's a lovely, lovely stadium. I don't really like the modern ones, but this one's a really good stadium, really nice atmosphere. They've made it a lot like Goodison Park, and they fill it as well. Fair play to them. But I would have give a lot to go down there today. Fair play to everyone who travelled, especially on a Sunday as well. But wow. Just wow, mate.
Yeah, Gav's been sending the messages in the chat of being giving Nyron a hug and stuff like that under the stand. So I'm absolutely good. Couldn't be there. But also joining us today, we have Bomber. Hello, mate.
Hello, mate. I think you've probably got the wrong two people on if you are open to have our feet firmly planted on the floor. Because similar to Ant, I'm buzzing for that. If nothing more than the fact that I've got a ticket for the Chelsea game next week, and I'm making the 4.5-hour journey with something to play for at least. So yeah, you're not gonna bring me back down to earth at the minute, mate.
Yeah, we've been bigging that game up against Chelsea for a while, and we're going to give that one the big build up. But it's brilliant. We've got something to play for on that one. But I did say it was our 5th away win of the season, Bomber. Go on then. I'll let you name the other 4. Rattle them off.
The other 4. Oh Jesus.
Well, one's obvious, Bomber. One's obvious.
Yeah, Newcastle. Chelsea.
Yeah. Go on, help them out, and
yeah, come on.
Leeds is definitely one.
I wouldn't remember the Leeds.
Crystal, no, Nottingham Forest.
Yeah, Nottingham Forest.
Well done, mate. Well done.
There you go. And then, of course, there's Everton. So, 5th away win of the season. Brilliant performance, and we're going to get into it. But Ant, just to go back to the kind of starting lineup, and I don't know about you, but I was maybe a little surprised how Angulo came in. Talby had done not that much wrong, really, and and Angulo was coming back, and you thought he might have been eased in, but I was quite surprised to see him in the starting 11.
No, I agree. I was probably expecting unchanged. Maybe that Hume coming out for one of the wingers, but obviously he likes to do that first half to make sure we don't concede goals or anything like that. But to be fair, like a big day for Angulo. To be fair, because obviously he's been out injured a couple of months, and he only came back last week against Manchester United, and to be fair, I thought he did okay. I thought he, like I say, looks very, very sharp and dangerous and stuff. Bought an excellent yellow card for their right back, which not really sure the right back did much wrong, but fair play to him. But yeah, he did okay. But yeah, I think only the one, obviously, he wasn't going to change the defence up. Obviously, we'll get into it. He had to, but he wasn't going to do that. And the midfield, I think, picked itself. So to see him in, like I say, give him an opportunity. I think he did really well. And yeah, fair enough.
Yeah. Well, you talked about the defence, but Bomber, Geertruida was in there again. Now, you look at, there was 09 and Serkin on the bench, and maybe you could argue, well, what options did he have? But of course, he had Hume in front of him on the right midfield. You could have argued, Rigg might have come in, Talby might have moved across, or Angulo might have went on the right, or even Jocelyn if he was fit enough. So he did have other options there if he was to maybe move Hume back to fullback, but it hasn't happened too many times where Geertruida's played well in the previous game and then kept his place.
Yeah, and I mean, in some respects, you feel sorry for him because we've seen him. I can probably count at least half a dozen times where he's put in a decent performance, and you think, okay, he's probably going to get a run in the team now, and then it's not happened. And then, with the rumours circulating in the press and in the media about him not staying at the club and us not exercising that buy clause that we had put in for him, you kind of would have been forgiven for thinking that he probably wouldn't play any more minutes for the rest of the season, because we know that Regis tends to have a preference to those players who are, actually contracted to us. But yeah, fair play to him. It's just a shame, like I say, that run is slightly out in the team, is slightly out of position, and slightly towards the end of the season when it's a little bit too late for him to make an impact, or enough of an impact for us to want to keep him. But, he did a job. I think he was a bit up and down today in terms of that performance. Certainly wasn't as good as the week before, I don't think, anyway. But yeah, I say, I just wish we could have seen more of him, really, because at the end of the day, he's a Dutch international, and if our squad's strong enough that or our starting 11 or best 11 is strong enough that Dutch internationals have to get splinters on their asses in the bench, then we must be doing something right, mustn't we?
Yeah, well, just very quickly, Bomber, I'll let you tell us what you think is going to happen in the summer with Geertruida, because every time I see him play and every time I see him interact with the other Sunderland players, he looks like he's really part of the group. He always looks like he's one of the ones who's celebrating the most and he's wanting to get involved. He's clearly a good player. You would think that if somebody asked him, he probably says, well, I haven't played enough.
Yeah.
But I don't really know why the club wouldn't want to sign a player like that. But how do you think it's going to go?
I think it'll be a club decision. Well, obviously it'll be a club decision. It's a stupid thing to say. What I mean is, I don't think there'll be a situation where we offer
it to the fans.
Yeah, I don't know. What I mean is, I don't think it'll be a situation when the club offers him something and he turns it down. I think if the offer is there, I think he would probably take it, because you're right. He sounds and looks like he's part of that squad. He's part of the fabric of it, whether he's on the pitch or off of it. He's obviously very well liked. He obviously likes being here. So what I mean is, it will be the club who decides whether they put an offer to him or whether they say, no, thank you very much, but no thanks. I think it's a strange one. My gut feeling is that he probably will move on, and that I think he'll probably, especially after the World Cup, will probably have offers on the table. Whether we live to end up regretting that remains to be seen. But like I said, Chris, he's an international footballer for a top, I don't know what Holland are now, but let's assume they're at least top 20 international football team. So it is a strange one for us to just pass that opportunity off, because, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, I think the buy clause was 23 million or something like that. It wasn't, in the grand scheme of things, a massive amount of money. The only thing I can think of is that we're making moves already, and there's something potentially lined up that might be bigger and better. That might just me be getting my hopes up and hoping for another Granit Xhaka-esque signing this summer coming. But that's the only thing that makes sense to me, is that we're saying thanks but no thanks. But yeah, if we're saying thanks to no thanks to somebody who's, like I said, Dutch international, Ant's just corrected me, 7th in the world, top 10 international team in the world, and we're saying, nah, thanks, we'll move on. So, like I say, the optimist in me, as I did warn you at the start of the record, will say that we're going to bring in, some absolute world-class superstar for 35, 40, 50 million, and we'll wonder who Gertruida is this time next season.
Yeah, well, there's you getting started on our transfer rumours weekly.
I'm starting it early this year, mate.
Yeah, that's it. Well, and just to get into the game, because I thought if you looked at the first 10, 15 minutes or so, I actually thought it had the feeling of some sort of pre-season friendly. It was really strange. And with both clubs, with 6 points at stake with the rest of the season and with a chance of qualifying for Europe, I thought it might have been quite a defensive game. We talked to someone for the opposition preview. He thought both sides were going to go at it because the pressure was off. Both sides, needed 3 points if they were going to keep their dream alive, I suppose, of that European qualification. But it just felt really flat, didn't it? The first 10, 15 minutes, both sides just knocking it about with a slow tempo.
Yeah, I thought especially us started quite slowly. Thought obviously Everton had a couple of chances, didn't they, where the final pass was poor and everything like that. But thought we were a little bit lax. But you're right, it did feel it was one of them ones where after about 6 or 7 minutes I was on my phone more times and watching the game. I was thinking, what the hell's going on here? It felt like two teams on the beach. To be fair, obviously it got a lot better. But I thought we were just, like I said, just solid for that opening 10, 15. Just obviously trying to feel our way into the game and everything like that. Trying not to concede a sloppy first goal or an early goal, so their tails will be up, which is what we didn't. I think we just found our way, which we tend to do in away games, don't we? Where we do have like the odd 10 minutes where we're just, feel teams out a little bit, and then try and gain possession of the ball and try and have the ball a lot, which again what we did. But yeah, you're right. It was one of them ones where you're looking at thinking, I'm glad we're not live on telly. Oh, actually we are. So it's what it is. But no, it was a bit tepid first 10, 15 like.
Yeah. We had loads more of the ball as well. We roughly had about 75% possession of the first 15, 20 minutes. But Bomber, on 15 minutes, of course, there was the Bradley Lowry tribute, and Everton, of course, have got that link, and that they were so involved in that. Way back when, and they've kept involvement, and it was just one of those kind of quirks that that anniversary came up when we were playing Everton away, and I thought Everton played their part, and I thought it was a fantastic tribute.
Yeah, it was. You couldn't fault it, and like you said, it's funny how the world works sometimes. In that, we just like you say, we just happen to be playing Everton in and around this particular time of year, and yeah, I mean, there's not much more that you can say about it. It's poignant. It was perfect, and it was fitting for the situation. Everton and Sunderland, they don't have too many links outside of Peter Reid and probably a few others before my time, but that little boy brings our two clubs together. So yeah, it was nice. It was touching. It was
And Jordan Pickford joining in as well, which was a bit of a touch of class as well. But yeah, around 10 minutes after that, Ant, there was a challenge on Ronaldo that I think everybody was, at first glance, was up in arms about and shouting for a red card. Second glance, I'm not so sure. But what was your take on it? Because it was a yellow card in the end.
When I first seen it, I thought it was a red all day long. I think what saves him in the replay is he manages to keep himself a little bit low, and his studs aren't as high as what I thought originally it was. I thought originally it was a shocking tackle, and I thought actually Ronaldo was quite badly injured. But you see, that's what footballers do these days, don't they? Roll around like lunatics. And obviously we just lost already, haven't we? Literally like a couple of minutes beforehand. So you're thinking, oh, these two injuries. But when even the first replay I'm looking at, I'm thinking he's off because I still think it was out of control and it was reckless. But when you watch it 2 or 3 times, you think it's probably just about right. You think probably the referee probably gets it right on the pitch and it's not a clear and obvious error. So VAR can't really overturn it. So I think obviously we've had our discussions about VAR, and me and me, Andrew, and Martin obviously had a lot of discussions about VAR during the week, but begrudgingly, I think they've got it right. Eventually, though.
Yeah, it was funny. All the messages coming through saying that has to be a red. That has to be. Oh, actually,
mostly
no.
from me.
now I've seen it again. I'll come back on that. But yeah, as you said, 09 had come on for Alderete. By that point, I think it was about 5 minutes before that tackle. And actually, I thought 09 played really well. But a few minutes before half time, Bomber. The home side did take the lead. Really strange goal, and it kind of summed up the game in some ways, that we stood off them on our right-hand side at first and then got away with it. And the ball ended up going out to the other side to roll. And he was 1v1 versus Ronaldo, cut inside. And again, it was kind of Ronaldo maybe giving too much space. We were backing off. Xhaka, if you look at where the ball was when the shot deflected off him, could he have pushed out a bit more? It all just seemed a bit lax. And again, from both sides, it wasn't Everton cutting through us and doing anything special. It was just one of those goals that pretty much summed up the game at that point, wasn't it?
Yeah, it felt a bit lazy. It felt a bit lackadaisical, as you say. Ronaldo has a habit of that. I have noticed that this season. Like if you give him a 50-50 or even a 60-40 that he can slide into, he'll do it. He's got no problem. But if he has to stand an attacker up, he does have a tendency to stand a little bit too far away, and makes it quite easy for those wingers and those wide players to do that cutting inside. It's very rare that he gets beaten on the outside, but he seems to just be a little bit too relaxed in letting players cut inside. And yeah, I say you could argue that Xhaka could have got out and could have got a little bit closer, but. That, like I said, most of the first half was like that. So it wasn't anything out of the ordinary. It just felt that, I think up until the goal, I think there was a danger that it felt like a bit of an end of season friendly, which was weird considering both teams have got absolutely everything to play for. And maybe there was a touch of neither team wanted to do anything stupid and perhaps jeopardize that and maybe go out in the second half and try and win it. But yeah, it's a deflected goal. It was an okay strike. It was on target. There's nothing really more you can say about it other than we probably should have done better to stop it happening in the first place.
Yeah. I mean, and just before, well, we'll get into kind of half time, I suppose, before we go into how we turned it around. Just in terms of that first half performance, and because you look at, I can't remember the exact stats at half time, but I'm sure we had around 70% of possession in that first half, but we didn't have a shot on target. Now, Everton at the same time were poor. They hardly created anything as well. I think their first shot on target was after around 35 minutes. I think that was a Garner shot that hit straight at roofs. But how do you sum up that first half performance, Ant? Because we've gone away to a good Premier League side in mid-table. We've completely controlled, or virtually controlled, the half, but haven't created anything and had a shot on target. So how do you sum that up?
It might have been down to, I think, our most technical player is obviously Enzo Lefebvre, and I thought in the first half he was having a bit of an off day. You know, what he was trying wasn't quite working out. Summed up with him trying to chip Jordan Pickford and hitting the corner flag, which was hilarious, to be honest.
Well, hang on. Just want to quote Brett here: "If you don't shoot, you don't score."
Well, yeah.
He'll
Sometimes if you do shoot, you don't score.
Yeah. But I thought he was, like I said, by his standards, I thought he was poor first half, and I don't think we had enough getting up with Brobby. I think Brobby was doing okay, but him and Tarkowski were having an excellent battle, and we just weren't getting players in and around. And then I think the problem is when you do have Hume playing on that right, you're so reliant on the right back to push forward, which what Otrauda was doing last week, and I don't think Otrauda was doing that as much. So it was just, I think we were just sedate. I think we were just, like I said, playing within ourselves. And I think it was probably, we were like, get this to half time 0-0 and we'll get at them second half. I think that was the plan, obviously. And then that was, like I say, was obviously it was different between the sides. But you look at how many times we were in that position and we were going backwards or we were sideways or something. And Merlin Rose just had a shot that stuck a wicked deflection. But I agree with what you were saying about Xhaka. I actually think it's quite a lazy attempt by Xhaka to try and clear it. He just sticks a leg out and it hits off and goes in, and he goes in body-wise, as you said, goes out to him and goes body-wise. He stops that from happening. And he usually does that really, really well. But
the thing I couldn't understand, Anne, was the distance between Xhaka and Ronaldo. I thought Xhaka would have got out to support him if he cut inside.
Yeah, it was a strange one, but you were seeing that all over the pitch from both sides, weren't you, in the first half, where, you know, there was like the final deliveries. I think Dewsbury Hall had a couple for Everton, and normally he's spot on. And his were poor, and everything we were trying just wasn't working. And it did have that feel of either, you know, an end of season game when two teams were on the beach, where it was just you weren't putting that extra 10% in, and both teams playing within themselves, and it was just a deflected goal that made it level. But we were just I thought, like I say, we were okay. You know what I mean? By the possession wise, you were like, this was quite pleasing, wasn't it?
Yeah.
But you were like, but I mean, Pickford had nothing to do first half, and you know, you've got to test keepers like that. You know what I mean? He's a top quality goalkeeper, but he wouldn't have had an easier half than that all season. Yeah. But
well, that's the thing.
It's hard to explain, though, isn't it? You know what I mean?
I was really confused at half time. I was really confused. I was thinking we've played really well, but you just wanted us to have created something, and then you would have went, that's a good performance. But anyway, before we get into how Sunderland turned it all around in that second half, I think it's a good chance for us to take a quick break. So we'll be back very soon.
This spring, Uber Eats has you covered. Whether you're celebrating mom, dad, or your favorite grad, not all of us are great planners, and with the Uber Eats gift hub, you don't have to be. Send flowers, perfume, champagne, or just their favorite meal straight to their door. Gifts arrive in as little as 25 minutes, and you can add a personalized video message for that additional so-not-last-minute touch. So this spring, get a leg up on gift giving with Uber Eats. Last-minute gifts that land every time. Must be 21 or older to purchase alcohol. Product availability varies per region. See app for details.
This episode is brought to you by Perfect Bistro Cat Food. Cats, this ad is for you. Has your human ever called you picky, persnickety, choosy? If so, Perfect Bistro Cat Food is for you. With ingredients like wild-caught tuna and pasture-raised lamb, tantalizing textures, and delectable flavors that meet even the most discerning cat standards. You're not picky, you're just perfectionists. Perfect Bistro, mealtime perfection for every cat. Have your human visit perfectbistro.com.
Now at McDonald's, a McDouble is $2.50, so you can get your gym gains on, or just get lunch for only $2.50. Get more value on the under $3 menu.
Limited time only. Prices and participation may vary. Prices may be higher for delivery.
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
And welcome back to How We're the Podcast. And we're just about to get into how Sunderland turned it all around in that second half, because we were one down at the break. And the second half started pretty much how the first ended. I thought we were kind of on top with possession. We had 3 or 4 corners and free kicks from around the edge of the box that actually just came to absolutely nothing, unfortunately. I thought our set pieces at that point were pretty poor. But yeah, around the hour mark, Bomber, we managed to get back on level terms, and it was a real strange one, because it started from Xhaka, who I thought was brilliant all afternoon, by the way, and he tried to do a crossfield pass and slipped at the same time, so it went kind of in the middle of the park, and it went to O'Brien from Everton, who had an awful first touch, and it went straight to Lafay. But it was fantastic from Lafay. He took 2 touches, and it was really interesting the last couple of games as well, that as soon as the ball fell to Lafay, you saw the reaction from Brian Brobby. He was on his bike. As soon as it got into his feet, and Lafay took 1 touch to get it out of his feet, slid in Brian Brobby, and then Brobby absolutely bullied Tarkowski and finished at the near post past Pickford. And apparently it was Brobby's earliest goal. It was his first goal before the 66th minute. So yeah, he's getting earlier. Let's see if he can get one in the first 10 minutes against Chelsea. That would be nice. But yeah, fantastic goal, wasn't it?
It was a great goal. Like you said, it was a bit of a calamity of errors leading up to the actual chance, but as soon as Lefay gets that ball, you know something's going to be created. And the first touch was brilliant. The pass was even better. Like there was an angle, a replayed angle that was behind the goal, so you could see Robbie's run obviously towards the camera as you're looking at it, and it looked in real time. It looked like the pass had been played a little bit too far to the right hand side, and someone was going to get there. But you look at it in that reverse angle, and that is exactly where Lefay meant to play it. And it was almost like Robbie knew he was going to play it that side as well. Because if you watch the run, Robbie kind of moves to his left hand side a little bit to almost allow that pass to come through down the right hand side. Checked Tarkowski a little bit to kind of stop his run, then moves back to the right hand side back to the ball. So it feels like something that's very deliberate in terms of the pass and the actual run. And then, as you said, Chris, he just completely kind of shrugs Tarkowski off. Tarkowski ends up on his ass, and once that happens, you're pretty confident that Robbie's going to finish it at that point, because for how strong and physical he is, he's not one that will just lash the ball 100 miles an hour at the goal and hope it goes somewhere. It's actually a nice finish. He has hit it with some pace and power, but it's not like he's closed his eyes and just put his foot through it. He's meant to put it where he did. And it was, if I remember rightly, just down low to Pickford. So, goalkeepers hate those ones that go at pace that are just down by their ankles.
Near post as well. He'd be disappointed with that.
He would, yeah. Yeah, although maybe not, because Agent Pickford is helping us out. So,
well, we're going to come on to the next goals. We'll come back to that.
That's true. But yeah, it was a great pass and a great finish, and looked like something that they'd been practicing together or working on together or spoken together. Because, as you mentioned before you asked the question, as soon as Enzo Lefay gets the ball, he's running. He's gone, and he's not even facing Lefay. He knows where Lefay is going to play it, and he just runs into that space. Yeah, it was a great goal.
Yeah. And I thought it was thoroughly deserved, Ant, at that point. And again, I think the possession stats were something like 74% in our favour. But it was our first shot on target, and the goal was pretty much on the hour mark. But again, and Lebris has been about this all season, when games have been tight. And I think you touched on it earlier on when we're talking about our performance in the first half. That Lebris is always big on this. He's saying, as long as you're in the game and you get those moments right, then you end up on the right side of the result.
Yeah, and the amount of times you've seen it this season where we look as if nothing's going to work or anything like that, and then we just pull a goal out of nowhere. But that's why you've got Enzo Lefay in the side, and that's why he's in the 10, because he's just got that. He's just got that in him. That's his 11th goal contribution, and obviously, we'll talk about what happened later, but that was his 11th goal contribution this season for us, and it's amazing. It's just absolutely amazing when you've got someone like that who's top drawer, and that pass isn't easy either, because you can easily overhit that, but it was just beautifully weighted, and Robbie does well. I agree with Bomber. I think it's a really nice finish, to put it beyond Jordan Pickford, but. It was as if it came from nowhere, didn't it? It comes from a mistake like that, but that's what you need to be. You need to be ruthless, and that's probably why we didn't come away with 3 points against Man U, because of the chances we did create, we actually missed. But you've seen games where we haven't had that. You look at Newcastle away, where we've had probably 2 clear-cut chances and scored them both, and that's what's good about this. That's why we get this. That's why we're top of this league, for having as many points from losing positions, because we have got that streak in us. We don't create much, but when we do create, we don't have to put the ball in the battle. And I think our chances to goals ratio must be up there as well. Not being like a stat or anything like that, because I haven't got a clue where it would be, but I would imagine it's quite high.
We need Johnny on, I think.
Yeah, we probably do. Any stats of our listening, feel free to comment in the in the post below. But yeah, it was, and as you said, it was thoroughly deserved, and you just knew from there if one team was going to go on and win it was us.
Yeah. Well, saying that, Bomber, I thought it was really interesting that as soon as that goal went in on the sidelines, Trey Hume came off and Talby came on. So we equalised, and the attacking substitution was made a second, literally seconds after we got back in the game. And it told you everything about what Lebris thought about the game, that he thought it was there for the take, and clearly making an attacking substitution. But a couple of things on that. Obviously, get your thoughts on Lebris being brave enough to make that substitution, but also Trey Hume on the right-hand side, because there was a lot of debate about it after the Manchester United game when I thought we were positive and actually created quite a lot of chances. And the debate rolls on again today because he was brought off on the hour just after we got back into the game.
Yeah, I mean, I personally, I don't like Hume on that right-hand side. I think it doesn't. What am I trying to say here? It doesn't suit the way in which I think we play best, if that makes sense. So I think we've played best and we've looked most threatening and been most exciting when we are trying to catch teams on a break, especially away from home. And although Trey Hume is a very competent right-sided player, he's not the quickest. He's not the most naturally attacking minded, especially when you can consider how many wingers we actually have at the club at the minute, all right, varying levels of fitness, let's say. But yeah, I'm not a fan. But what I would say is actually, I don't think the substitution of Trey Hume for Talby is as attacking as you think it is. I think it's a very, very clever tactical change for Labrie, because obviously we go 2-1 up. Hang on. No, that was was 1-1 at that point, wasn't it?
We've just equalised.
Yeah, literally just spoken about it. Yeah,
I mean, I tried to lead you into the question.
Yeah. But I think it speaks more for how he wanted to play the rest of that game in terms of being more on the counter attack. So being more willing to sit back, give up a little bit more possession, give up a little bit more territory, but then have Angulo on one side and Talby on the other to break and to support Robbie. So I don't think it was necessarily a more attacking substitution. I just think it was a different way in which he wanted to play for the rest of the game. And I mean, far be it for us to question any of his decisions in terms of substitutions today, eh?
Well, exactly. But I'm going to bring Ant in on that topic as well, because I think it is one of the hot topics in terms of Hume being on the right-hand side. But I want to talk to you as well about basically the next big set of substitutions, which happened on 76 minutes. Angulo, Brobby and Siddiqui came off. Rig, Isidore and Diarra came on. And again, the game poised at 1-1, 15 minutes to go, triple substitution. Now, there might have been some eyebrows raised at Brobby because he was having the battle he has every week, basically, but he seemed to be getting the better of that. Siddiqui was still making the runs. Angulo, you can say, okay, well, fair enough, he's coming back from injury. It was probably always likely he was going to come off. But again, another the brave substitutions from Labrie just to go for the game when it's 1-1 with 15 minutes to go.
Yeah, and you could argue as well that it probably not as attacking with Rig being in there, because obviously, Rig's obviously I've been asked to do a job out wide and everything like that, but it's not his natural position. I think it's probably his best position for us now, but it's not been his natural. He's always a 10, wasn't he, when he first came into the club and everything like that. And then obviously Jara's had his issues in the last few weeks, performance wise. So it was a big risk, and as you said before there with Brobby, who was winning that battle. But what I liked about it is I think he knew there was tired legs in the Everton back line. Tarkowski, I think Tarkowski actually did a really good job on Brobby. I thought it was a really good battle. I thought they both had really, really good games. But their left back, you could tell, was struggling. And the other centre-half, Michael Keane, you could tell he was struggling as well. And what Tarkowski and Keane don't have is speed. So obviously to bring Wilson on, who was very, very quick, I thought was a good show from Labrie, especially after last week when he didn't come on against Man U. You're thinking, oh, well, my end will come on. I was thinking my end will come on. I didn't think Wilson would come on, and I thought maybe he would maybe make another midfield sub or something along those lines, or circuit for Ronaldo, because that's been happening, hasn't it? So, so fair play to him. Like I said before, I said at the start, he has come in for criticism with these subs, and like I say, last week I thought he got it wrong with not bringing Hume off earlier. This week he's brought him off early for Talby, who's come on and done really well, and then you look what's happened. One's got a goal, one's got an assist. In fact, two of them have got an assist. So it's proved out to be brilliant. So and it's what I keep on saying about the bloke. he's a very clever manager, Like we've got a good one here, and I keep like you say, I just find it unbelievable that people are thinking, "Why we might get rid of him in the summer?" Because I think he's a tremendous manager. Just because he doesn't play fast flowing attacking football, if we did that every week, we'd get beat. You know what I mean? We're better defensively than we are attacking. We're better at winning midfield battles and stuff like that. And I just thought his subsidy though, and he was similar to the playoff final, wasn't it? Where he brought the right players on in the right positions, if you know what I mean by that. And sometimes that is difficult, but he brought players on who would make impacts, and all of them did. So fair play to him, like.
Yeah. Well, especially down that right-hand side with that partnership of Rig and Diarra, because 5 minutes later, Bomber, we took the lead. And actually, when I saw this goal, it actually started with a fantastic header in the middle of the park from Ronaldo to Xhaka, because he was under pressure from a couple of Everton players, and you thought, where's he going to do this? Is he going to give away possession? And he angled it fantastically to get it into Xhaka's feet. He laid it off to Rig, and I thought this was really funny, actually, because as soon as Xhaka laid it off to Rig, he was telling him to go on, get forward, bugger off, get away from us, get up the pitch. And Rig did. He drove forward. Fantastic run from Diarra out wide, and Rig found him, laid it off to him. And then another brilliant ball in from Diarra, low cross to Brobby, who held it up as he does. He laid it off to Rig, who Rig again could have panicked in that and just took a pot shot at goal, but he did a fantastic little touch to Lafay, who again, couple of touches, and I'm going to say a fantastic finish. I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt because there was a bit of a challenge in there. But yeah, then he donned the Spider-Man mask, and we took the lead.
Yeah. I mean, right at the start of that, you started that description at the Ronaldo header. Before that ball gets to Xhaka, I'm shouting at Ronaldo, going, "What the fucking hell are you doing?" Like thinking that we might be under a bit of pressure if he gets this wrong, but he absolutely didn't. He went straight to Xhaka, and like you say, passed it out wide to Rig. It's a very well worked goal, and like I said, it fully justified the substitutions that Regis had made, and again, there was a danger where I was at a point where I was shouting at the telly for them to shoot, because that has been the bane of our existence in the Premier League this season, is not shooting enough. I mean, there's got to be thousands and thousands of fans every single week who are shouting at their TVs, shouting within the stadium for some of our players to shoot. And, it does get tippy tapped around the box a little bit. I mean, Brobby does what Brobby does best in terms of like getting that ball in the box, having a few touches, not letting a defender near him. But by the time it's got to Lafay and he's taken a running onto it, I'm thinking, oh, that's the chance gone, to be honest. And you did say it was a good finish. I mean, I'll credit him with the goal, and I'll credit him for being in the right place at the right time. But I'm not so sure in that replay that the Everton defender hasn't kicked it onto his boot as he's swinging through for it. So although it's a great goal, it's a well-worked goal from what could have been something, if Ronaldo hadn't got that touch right, that header to Xhaka right, could have been threatening against us. To turn that into a goal is fair play, but I'm not with you in crediting him for a good finish, because it's been kicked against him.
I'll tell you what, Bomber, I loved how you said that Brobby does what Brobby does. He wasn't even on the pitch. it was Isidore.
That was Isidore, was it?
Do you know what? That's exactly what I was going to say as well. I was meant to say Isidore doing what Brobby does and holding it up. Yeah. That's what I meant. So
but you're right. He did. It was a really good holder play from him. You don't see that from him very often, do you? And that's why I think he was getting a lot of criticism when he lost his position, because things were just bouncing off him. So fair play to him for doing that.
Yeah, you very, very rarely see him with his back to goal when he's on the pitch. But yeah, that's what I meant to say. Isidore doing what Brobby does, and yeah, but the point is, I can't credit him with a good finish. I absolutely love the man, but I can't credit him with a good finish. And the Spider-Man mask gets him extra points for it not being a good finish. Yeah, so that's all I'm going to say on it before I drop myself in it some more.
It was really bad goalkeeping as well, wasn't it? Like Pickford, you expect Pickford to
done better with it. Yeah, he should have done better with it.
I mean, I think he's the best keeper. I think he's up there, one of the best in the world, definitely the best in England. And but I think he should save that. But hey ho, he's a Sunderland lad, so I don't think he'd
like
be
I
too
said,
disappointed.
Agent Pickford.
Yep, we had Agent Ahmad last week, and we've got Agent Pickford this week. But talking about keepers, Ant, because it was I think it was a few minutes later, when it might have actually just been it was about 5 minutes later actually when the Everton had a fantastic chance. It was George on that left hand side who put a fantastic cross in, and O'Brien at the back post, and it was from point blank range. And there's the argument to say, well, did he know much about it? But then again, you've got to get in that position, haven't you? That Roofs got into that position. He went right across the goal, and you've got to put that yourself in the best possible position where even if you don't know the ball's coming, it might hit off you. But do you think you got a bit lucky with that, or do you think that's good goalkeeping?
I think it's excellent goalkeeping, Chris. I've got to be honest. And I think Hinchcliffe said it, didn't he? Andy Hinchcliffe, it was on Corcoms to say he knows nothing about it. But if you watch after their lad makes contact with it with his head, you watch Roof move his shoulder. Roof shoves his shoulder up like that to make himself as big as he possibly can. And it hits him and goes over the bar. For me, I think that's a wonderful save. I've got to be honest, because he rushes across goal. He does what he does best, and that's a massive, big play in Robin Roos as a goalkeeper. He does make himself as big as he possibly can there, and that's all he does there. I think the lad should score. Don't get us wrong, but I think it's an incredible bit of goalkeeping, and fair play to him, like I say, because he hadn't had much to do either, had he? And to make himself in that moment there, just after we'd scored, to keep us in front, probably just as good as the third goal. Absolutely amazing from Robin Roos, and I'm delighted for him.
Yeah. Well, the game got really stretched after that, and we got into injury time, and it was just the 91st minute, and both teams are kind of breaking. It turns into a bit of a game of basketball, but we break, and Isidore played the ball wide to Rigg in the centre circle. He carried on his run while Rigg drove forward with the ball. Diarra again on the overlap, and it had just gone wrong for Diarra a few minutes before. So you might be thinking, is his confidence still there after maybe messing that chance up a few minutes earlier? But on this occasion, again, fantastic ball across the box. And Isidore, as I said, carried on that run to the back post. And Everton had just brought James Coleman on, who I think was all over the shop at the back post, and Isidore came in, like I said, brilliantly carried on his run from the centre circle, and I thought it was a fantastic finish at the back post, Bomber.
Yeah, it was a great finish. I think it's an underrated finish. When you watch it back a couple of times, Isidore's deliberately opened his body up and put it into that far corner when it would be easy to try and drag it into the near one, because he can see Coleman sprinting across, he can see Pickford sprinting across. He knows that all the momentum is going from, as we're looking at it, from right to left. So he just puts it in the opposite corner, knowing that both of them are going to be wrong-footed. Both of them, the physics of it, both of them are going the other way. It's a very, very clever finish. And, he's had to react to that pretty quickly because the ball's come across. And he's arrived in the box very late. He's only got, the ball's rolling across that 6-yard box. And I think when Diarra's playing it, he's not even in the 18-yard box at that point. So he's running onto it and had to make that decision very quickly, not even thinking that it's necessarily going to get to him. I love it when Isidore scores. I really do. And fair play to Diarra as well, because there was a couple of minutes before we broke, and I think it was him was running through, and he just carried on running with it, and he should have played. I think we're 3-on-2, and he should have played it through either in. I can't remember. It must have been into Isidore, and I think Talby was through as well, and he just held on to it for too long. And the opportunity was gone, and I was like, "Oh no, not again!" Because obviously his decision making has come into question a fair few times, should we say, certainly since the Villa game. So yeah, I thought it was good. It was a good bit of play. Obviously, not necessarily the decision making, because there's no other decision for him at that point other than to cross it in, but the technique to put that cross in, and for it to find that that corridor of uncertainty, as commentators like to say, that space between the goalkeeper and the running back defenders. It was a perfect cross and exactly what he needed, because he has come into some criticism. And like I say, I just love it when Isidore scores, because as fans, even though we don't see as much of him or haven't seen as much of him towards the end of the season, we love him. he loves us. I don't know whether he'll be here next season or not, but yeah, when he scores, you can see the passion that he has for us as a fan base, and how much he just loves scoring goals for Sunderland, regardless of how many minutes he's on the pitch. So yeah, deserved assist for Diarra, and another deserved goal for Isidore, because, like I say, I love watching him score goals for us.
Yeah, going 3-1 up in injury time, and again, you look at these goals. You know, we take the lead on 81 minutes. We go 3-1 up on 91 minutes. We already mentioned a couple of times that we've taken the most points in the Premier League this season from losing positions. And I mean, I'd like to see the stats on late goals as well. None of this is a coincidence, is it, Ant? Because this is the way we've played. We've talked about it a little bit. We've touched on it. That, you know, Lebris likes to just make sure that when it comes to the hour mark or there's 20 minutes to go, we're still in the game. And how many times this season has the side just come alive in that last 15, 20 minutes to make those chances count and to collect the points in the business end of the game? And it's been a tactic, hasn't it? It's not a fluke. It's not a coincidence. It's something we know that we want to have done this season.
Yeah, no, you're right. I mean, like I say, we're top of that league for a reason. It's not a fluke. It's not, it's not just we're getting lucky goals or anything like that. We are dominating teams at the end of games. You look at that. You look at that like today, like from when we scored, I think we've completely dominated the game and we've looked the most likely to score. But you look at Villa as well. I mean, we're 3-1 down to Villa, and then went and got 3-3, should have probably won it at the end. And yes, we've lost it and this, that, and the other. But I mean, that come from nowhere, didn't it? And you're thinking like how teams haven't found that out yet. But I think it's quite a thing that you can't really like prepare for something to come at you after 70 minutes, because we've got so many good, talented young players as well who have got different bits of ability, but all of them make a difference. Like I say, we said this with Diarra, and Diarra has struggled lately, especially after the Villa game and the home game after against Forest. He was really, really poor. But I echo Bomber's sentiments. I'm chuffed for him that he's got that assist, because I think that'll just bring him out a little bit more. And maybe that's why we spent 30 million on him, because there's something there. There's always been something there with him. There is something, and he showed that today. And a really nice ball across. It's a lovely finish. That's a great finish by Wilson Isidore. And I think he's actually played his way into contention for next season now with what he has done. I think he had a poor start of the year going into March, but then he's scored a couple of goals since. He's played well since he's come on. He's made himself, lively and everything like that. He's been running lost causes and stuff, and to get that again, I can't think of anyone more deserving than him to get one. Possibly Luke O'Nien, because I thought he was absolutely outstanding. But it's the way we're set up, and you look at it's gone on since probably like the playoffs where we did it against Coventry, didn't we? Down there where we just defended so well, got a couple of goals, didn't we, against the runner play or whatever, but it's just this mantra till the end, isn't it? We do not stop until that final whistle's gone. We do not stop, and we always find. You look at how many late goals we scored. You just mentioned before what Brian Brobby hadn't scored before the 60-odd minute or something or other this season, and he scored 7 goals. It's crazy. But we always do find a way, and that makes a good football side. That does, Chris, to be fair.
Yeah, we'll talk about till the end, Bomber. Just one to go, and look. I mean, well, we've said it umpteen times this season, but if somebody had offered us to be in 9th position, 2 points behind 7th placed or whoever was in that position, and 2 points ahead of Chelsea, even though they've got Spurs on Tuesday night, we would have absolutely snapped their hand off, and just want to go in this fantastic season, get back to the Stadium of Light and take on Chelsea, who haven't won in God knows how long, but let's see after the Spurs game whether Spurs come to town and they actually win that one. But yeah, as you said at the beginning, it's brilliant that we've almost got this final game of the season. Something still resting on it, not in a negative way. That if it doesn't happen, it's still positive. If it does happen, it's even more positive than that, and it's just going to be a brilliant day, isn't it?
Yeah. Either way, like that first leading up to kickoff. And the first 15 minutes of the game, it's going to feel like opening day against West Ham. I think, at a stadium like. And like I say, I'm so glad that I got a ticket and that we won today, and that there is a chance that there will be everything to play for that last game, because I do think the stadium will be rocking. Hopefully Chelsea end their losing run against Spurs, like you said, because it would be let's say it would be very Sunderland of old to have Chelsea break their losing run against us. But yeah, it's a dream, really, Chris, isn't it? Like you said, to go after 37 Premier League games, after not being in the Premier League for 7-8 seasons, however long it was, to come back and have the first season back after all that time and all the shit that we've had to go through as Sunderland fans, and to go through 37 games of a 38-game Premier League season with something to play for that's not we need a result else we're relegated. I don't think there's there's not a single person who isn't locked up in an asylum somewhere who genuinely thought that this is how our season would play out, and that we'd be bringing Chelsea to the Stadium of Light, possibly above them, but certainly needing to beat them to finish above them. I mean, that says it all, really, doesn't it? Regardless of what you think of Chelsea have been this season, they're multiple Premier League title winners. They're perennial Champions League.
World Club Champions.
Yeah. You know, stats-wise, best club in the world. And we bring them to our place with a chance of beating them and finishing above them, and therefore playing in Europe if other results go our way, with the little asterisks. But either way, next weekend is going to be something special for everybody. And, you know, it feels, I don't want to jinx it, but it feels like a little bit history repeating itself, you know, because it's this time last year, we had the Coventry match, we had Wembley, and both times did things that we thought were impossible. And Gav, to be fair to him, Gav's been saying it on the podcast for weeks and weeks and weeks. It just feels like it's gearing up for something special again. But the other side of that is that if we do lose to Chelsea on the last day and we end up finishing 10th, let's say, it's still a freaking amazing season. It's an amazing first season to be back in the Premier League. And I just hope that regardless of whatever happens, the owners, the club, just build on what we've done this season. Because it's the first time in a long, long time, possibly forever, that we've had a real solid foundation, both on and off the pitch, to go and do something that, you know, us as Sunderland fans might be biased, but feel that we deserve. So yeah, bring on next week.
Yeah, and if anyone's got any gripes or any moans about this Sunderland side of the club at the moment on the pitch, just listen to Bomber's monologue on a loop.
I feel like I'm auditioning for Braveheart.
You can add to that. If anyone has any qualms or whatever about something at the minute, go and watch another sport, because football's not for you. It's not really like.
Well, I was gonna bring you in and just to give us the last word, because we've been talking about potentially having a positive end to the season because of the fantastic first half of the season. And if we'd gone out maybe because we hadn't won in 4, if maybe let's say we hadn't beaten Everton, if we had gone down 1-0 and, you know, it was that kind of pre-season friendly feel about it, and we hadn't been Chelsea, we would have still thought it was a fantastic season. But it's always nice to end with a little bit of a positive at the end. And now that we've done that against Everton, even if the Chelsea game doesn't go the way we want, or even the positions or whatever, because we've had this, it's going to take us out on a positive, and it's fantastic to have that initiative to go into the summer with, you know, a little bit of momentum, a win against Everton away from home, a good win, and of course it's good to go into the Chelsea game with that, isn't it?
It is, and you know what, I agree with what you said there, because had it been, you know, all the season's over at Chelsea, this, that, and the other, I think it probably, because it's a bank holiday Sunday as well, so you'd be thinking like, oh, Peter may not have bothered going, or they've left early, and the lads wouldn't have got, you know, the lap of honour, which I think they've really deserved this season. Yeah. But when you're looking at it now, when you're thinking, you know what, we're 3 points away from possibly getting into Europe, it is a pinch me moment. I was seeing, me and Bum was saying this off air before, like, I literally can't believe we're in this position. I think it's absolutely incredible. That this time last year we're talking about, are we going to get promoted or anything like that? And then you fast forward, and ironically, it's going to be a year to the day, isn't it? Where we got that wonderful
only
win down
football,
there.
only football throws these
It
things
is
up.
though, isn't it? You're right. It's like but it just feels like fate's with us. It just feels, and I'm not a huge believer in all that stuff, but it just feels like there is something quite special going to happen next week. And the fans are going to be on the ball very, very quickly, very, very early. We're playing a side who aren't in form or anything like that, but I'm going to have a point to prove to a new manager coming in, aren't they, with them getting them Xabi Alonso. So he's going to be watching that game, is he? Thinking, well, we'll see what we've got here. He's going to know, and they've got world class players. Enzo Fernandez is a wonderful footballer. And to be honest, I was thinking at half time, I was like, looking forward to Chelsea without any of our first choice centre halves being fit. But you look what Luke O'Nien did when he came on today. Absolutely outstanding. Probably player of the match. Absolutely amazing he was today when he came on. And you just keep on thinking, is Luke O'Nien going to be in Europe next season? You're like, you know what? Just let's have it. Like, I can't wait now. I wish it was tomorrow. Honestly, I cannot wait for next week. And it is going to be special. And when there's been special days at the stadium like this season, we have really upped it, and we've really been, we've been on the button, and I think next week is going to be a tremendous occasion. And you know what, once more into the breach, my friends, in it, that's what it is. And I can't wait, mate. I think it'll be a special day, and hopefully we're celebrating at the end of it. But even if we don't, and I think that's right, I think it's right to keep grounded and keep level, and that's what Granit Xhaka has said quite a lot, keep level. Keep ourselves grounded, even if we don't.
Keep humble, I think the word.
Keep humble, yeah. And even if we don't make it, it's still been a fantastic season. The fact that we're in the last game of the season, we're thinking we could be in Europe, like it's immense. And fair play to everyone, and what a wonderful season it's been. And let's make next week a celebration, even if we do lose or draw or whatever, because we've been amazing.
And after what happened a year ago, how can you not believe in faith? Fate, sorry.
Fate, yeah.
Fate.
I called that 3 months before it happened as well. When he got, I can't remember who we were playing now, but he came on, he got booed. And I said that there was a lad, Neres, who was booing him. I went, "Are you up and booing him? He gets the winner in the playoff final. Like, he has already not play." There we go. I should put money on it.
I bet the lad was thinking of you at Wembley. But anyway, I think that's a good place to leave us. So just leave me to say thank you very much, Bomber. Thank you very much, Ant. Thanks again for your time, and thanks again everyone for listening. Don't forget, we'll have loads more analysis on the Roker Report website, and we'll have pods every day this week as usual, building up to the final game of the season next weekend. So look out for all of that. But from us, it's bye for now.
Starting a business can seem like a daunting task, unless you have a partner like Shopify. They have the tools you need to start and grow your business. From designing a website to marketing to selling and beyond, Shopify can help with everything you need. There's a reason millions of companies like Mattel, Heinz, and Allbirds continue to trust and use them. With Shopify on your side, turn your big business idea into... Sign up for your $1 per month trial at shopify.com/special offer.